Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to part 109 of Let's Play Pillars of Eternity 2, where we are currently looking for the island of something. We're currently going over here. That's what we were doing. And our badass submarine. Now, we could be going to Ukaizo and just finishing the game, but there's a DLC that I'm pretty sure this is DLC. If it's not, I'm just going to ignore it, but the sea seems fair, but something shifts on the horizon. The Deadfire Sea is calm, and submarine cuts smoothly across its surface, gulls trailing in the craft's wake. At the wheel, Bartow whistles quietly to himself. Elder and little Lucia stand near the starboard rail, quietly discussing the safest course to your destination. Submarine creaks across the water. Anything I need to know about little Lucia? With a shake of the head, the navigator shoots you a grin. Nay, Captain. Sailing smooth. Just working on how best to chart us. Alder chuckled. Of course, if you had a mind to. Gorgeous like this, I don't think a kith aboard would say no to an open cask of grog. Little Lucia grins in agreement. Let's keep it professional, folks. Little Lucia salutes. Aye, Captain. Understood. The breeze tugs your clothes as the salt-laced air shifts. A long grey line stretched across the horizon. It seems to shimmer like the air on a hot day. Elle's nose wrinkles as the sailor stares into the distance. No storm that. Too low and growing too fast. A quiet rumble rolls across the sea as the line grows. A massive swell of water barreling towards submarine. Bring us about. I think we're big enough to go straight over that wave. Bartow points the bowsprit directly into the wave. The deck rises before you, rushing past to either side as the ship ascends. You experience a moment of weightlessness before submarine pitches forward and plunges down the far side of the wave. The helmsman howls, though you're not sure whether it's excitement or terror. The swell moves past, leaving the sea heaving in its wake. As submarine steadies, you regain your feet and take stock of the damage. Bartow clings to the wheel like it might fly to the way. What in God's name was that? The Lucia frowns out across the calming sea. Came from the southeast of Deadfire, Captain. Around Tikawara, if I had to guess. Or the bleak Black Isles. Maybe there's an eruption or quake or something. Submarine sails on. Didn't give us anything. So yeah, we're doing Seeker Slayer Survivor now, which I'm still pretty sure it's a DLC, but haven't figured that part out yet. The wind carries an unusual sound to your ears. A distant roar reaches you from across the water, raising the hair on the back of your neck. Eld Ingram gapes. God's alive. Have yourself a look at that. Bartow thrusts a finger into the air. It's a goddamn dragon. A massive winged reptile sweeps over the submarine, throwing the deck into a shadow and setting the sails to billow and snap. Look alive or look dead, lads and lasses, Shield Sister Dahlia barked. Furl the sails, ready to the powder for wetting. The dragon banks in the distance, cutting a line across the horizon. You can just make out the figure of a rider upon its back. I could use a dragon mount myself. You say that now? They're a little talkative for my taste. Maya cranes her neck. Oh, you say that now. Cranes her neck and attacks the dragon's flight. Your crew shambles across the deck as the beast approaches. The dragon stops above the submarine, the wind from its wings buffeting you as its rider peers down imperiously. She dismounts, slipping from the dragon's back into thin air. Wonder what this bitch wants. She's kind of getting in my way, though.
Watcher of Cadnua, if I might have a moment of your time. I am Lengraf, and unless I'm mistaken, you're the Watcher of Cadnua.
The striking godlike squares her shoulders and regards you with piercing eyes. What do you want?
I seek a truant member of the Circle of Archmagi, Maura. She sent rather cryptic word that she'd found something of cataclysmic potential in the Black Isles, something that could aid you in the fight against Aothas. You've had few dealings with the Circle of Archmagi in the past. Nonetheless, we know you pursue Aothas, and we might have a way to help.
Why would I want to help you? There's a 700-foot tall problem that needs my attention.
I'd have thought self-preservation and the lure of knowledge would be enough to entice the famous Watcher. But if not, perhaps Maura is correct. Maybe there is something to the south that can be turned against Aothas. What if you can turn the tide?
So, wait, who's Maru?
A Huana wizard, and a member of the Circle of Archmagi.
The Lengraf gives you a pained expression.
She specializes in magic involving tentacles. It's a niche field.
He grimaces. Go on, sounds great. Where do we start?
As soon as you're able.
Lengraf frowns, her gaze turns to the horizon.
Maura's drive is frightening, foolhardy, and her love of the Deadfire uncompromising. If she's found some method of stopping Aothas, we must make sure she doesn't destroy Aora in an attempt to save her archipelago. I will await you in the Black Isles, a volcanic chain in the southeastern sea, due south of Tikawara. Don't tarry over long, Watcher.
As the Lengraf steps to the railing, her dragon sweeps beneath her, catching her. The great reptile's wings dig into the air and it rapidly recedes towards the horizon. The Lengraf is seated steadily on its back. Little Lucia looks to you, ready to chart a course when you are, Captain. Well, you know what? This one's piqued my interest more than the last one has. So you know what? We're gonna do this one first. It looks like the game is starting to get a little bit longer, so that's good. The longer the Let's Play, the little bit more fun. Ooh, this is one of the DLCs. We'll go do Seeker Slayer Survivor first, because apparently the other one's a bit too high level for us. Where are we going for this one? This one's going to Fire a Waterfall. I'm pretty sure this is it. Yes, it is. The sea billows beneath your vessel. Fucking hell, guys. You stumble to the side, grabbing the rail to keep from falling. A submarine rocks hard to port. Hamer returns to her feet, examining her fingers and wincing. God's alive, Bodil. What in Undred's holy name do you think you're doing up here? It wasn't my fault, you sodden bilge rat. Bodil spits back. The helmsman turns to you. Felt like something went under the ship, Captain. Two-legged Longfrost gestures wildly to starboard. Captain! Dan stumbles back from the deck. Either I need to be giving up the drink for good, or there's a goddamn colossal monster down there. Beneath the surface of the water, you make out a long, sinuous form. No mere fish, the creature swims with two pairs of legs and a long, thin tail. Your lungs feel suddenly empty and you gasp as your stomach turns. You fall sideways into light.
The light fades into dim. You stand in a forest glade hung thick with shadows. Tall trees surround you. The shriek of a deer pierces the air before being abruptly silenced. From out of the dark lope a Stelgar and a wolf, followed by a thickly muscled man draped in furs.
Galawain.
Galawain.
Herald of Berath. It is rare we have the opportunity to speak. But now I am afraid is not the time. You must leave.
I smell like... Oh, shit, she's not actually going to do it for me. I smell like rancid blood and days-old sweat wafts off him in a wave.
I will warn you only once. If you tread upon my island, it will consume you.
The large beasts at his side step forward in unison, their tails angrily swishing in the air. So you're not responsible for the head I received?
I am not. though Muatu is mine, and I will claim him in time.
Why don't you want me to come here?
You cannot help but thrust your nose into the affairs of others, and I would not see the kith and creatures of Kazuari be the recipients of that same meddlesome attention.
I received an invitation to the island.
Not from me.
I was told to seek the favor of Tomawaya. Is that you?
In a manner of speaking. Its nature complements my own. So I have occasionally acted in its name when the kith here needed a familiar face to lead their pack.
So what was that thing that just swam past my boat?
A glorious beast, and one of the many creatures here that will challenge you, should you refuse to leave.
The lolling tongue of Galloway's Stelagar companion drips saliva onto the dirt. Its long teeth shine with the inner light, low light. I don't take orders from you.
Consider it a strongly worded suggestion with consequences attached. I do not care to explain to Bareth why their favored watcher was torn to ribbons by my beasts.
Couldn't you just tell him not to attack me?
I could, but I will not. The island is a trial. To clear the path of challenge for you would run counter to its purpose. To my purpose.
The shadows in the streets encroach upon the glade inch by silent inch, constricting, waiting. Noted.
I have warned you. May aught that follows be on your head.
With a sound like a thunderclap and a bright burst like lightning, the forest disappears, and you are thrust back into your body. You blink against the fading flash. When you can see again, you find your hands bloodless and aching, gripping the railing of your ship.
Your eyes trace the giant lizard's path towards a nearby island. It seems to be swimming north, away from the waterfall. You lose sight of the beast as it plunges into the depths. Matu's voice seems a mere whisper after the power of a god. I felt such a rage from that beast, hunger too. And beneath all of it, I think fear. Galamain spoke to me through it. The Lord of the Hunt sent that beast? Matao's words rise in a pitch and volume. Everyone on Kazuari would be in danger. You have to help them. Please, Watcher. His voice echoes at the edge of your perception as you focus return to the deck of the submarine. The crew, eyes wide, stare at you. Looks like a big trophy to me. Let's go hunting. Hammer chuckles and think of the meat on the beast outside. Submarine rocks gently. The large landmass beckons. Well, looks like this would be my first challenge. An unusual structure rises from the thick jungle foliage ahead of you. Vines drape it like decor, and it takes you a moment to resolve it from its form into the spine and ribs of some titanic beast. Its skull faces you upside down, jaw wide open and gaping. Sharp teeth hang above like a waiting edge of a headsman's axe. Identify the skeleton. A variety of large quadrupedal lizards exist across the aura, and judging from its skull and claws, this seems to be one. The shape of its ribcage suggests an aquatic or amphibious existence. Such creatures can be very aggressive. Sneak closer to observe. Despite your best efforts, your movements elicit a series of thuds, pods, pops, and cracks as you pass through the heavy undergrowth. As you near the skeleton, you make out a number of rough pieces of decoration hanging from the old skeleton. Crafted from wood and bone, they hang inside of the mouth and ribs. Among the other desiccated sacrifices within the mouth, you find the remains of a human corpse. Investigate the scene. The hooved prints of numerous boards across the space, overlapping with those of kith of various sizes. Examine the corpse. The human this skeleton once was, his arms twisted at his sides, his legs broken, clearly died in pain. Deep gouges along the sternum and cracks in the ribcage reveal multiple stabbings to the chest, likely the cause of death. That, combined with the raised position of the corpse on fixed stones and its prominence in the center of the larger skeletal mouth, suggests that this individual died as a sacrifice. And we'll loot the body. The man's pack contains little more than a grappling hook and some rope, but tearing out of its false back reveals a large collection of carefully placed Deerwoodian coins. Examine the decorations. At first, the rough-hewn simplicity of the ornaments remind you of wilder totems, but fine etchings in some of the bones seem indicative of Huana. You discover several effigies that appear to be boar-headed kith, and will sneak away. You have only just left the gargantuan skeleton behind you when you hear a rustling in the jungle to your left. You hear another to the right. To either side of you, high-draped kith approach, flanked by bristling boars.
Don't move.
Scars of battle and decorations stripe the large man's fixed arms.
Return to your little boat, interloper. You do not belong on Kazawari.
His companions, each equally well armed and scarred, stand at the base at ease beside their boar companions, eyes trained on you.
Yeah, you're not welcome here.
The Scoffiola nearest you jeers. The boar at her sides tosses its head and kicks its hooves in the dirt.
Turn back, now. And count yourself lucky you aren't already dead.
I come on a holy mission from Berith. They will not hesitate to kill you if you stand in my way. Purple light bursts to life at the edge of your vision. You look around, perhaps wondering if this is a trick of the Matuas, but Hateno's crew seems to see it too. They shrink back, a couple even shriek in fright. The light grows, rising from your skin, and like a bonfire's flame, a wind blows from the beyond that shakes the trees around you.
Hateno?
Sigram takes one step back, then two.
God's eyes!
Hateno sheaves his blade with a shaking hand, then he nods to his compatriots, bidding them to stand down.
Pass them, but watch your back.
Hateno, Sigram, and the rest of the crew fade into the bush with little more than a rustle of leaves. Sigram's ball lingers a moment, its beady eyes trained on you, before it, too, disappears into the forest. But unfortunately, John, we're going to have to end this part here, and in the next part we'll continue on. See you guys then.